rolling. I just said, I see Jeff is asking on YouTube, can you help me? Well, what do you need help with? I'm not necessarily going to be able to help you, but I can't know until I know what you're working on. We'll get the pipes full first here, and I'm not even in the right channel in my Discord. The one I'm actually looking at. There we go. Good afternoon, DCD. Tried setting up my new Adafruit Memento and it seems to have gone wrong. I can try to help you. What are you trying to do with it? Sorry, the fire extinguisher place. You can also go to the support forums. That's the best place to get support for problems like this. I will find a link to the support forums. I have the window open because it got warm in here. And they blast the... I don't know if you can see it at all. Hi, Jono. Okay, let's get started. So hello, everybody. I think you can hear me. My name is Scott. I work for Adafruit on CircuitPython. Adafruit is an open source hardware and software company based out of New York City, but there's a bunch of remote folks, including myself. I work in Seattle in my office space here. Used to work from home, but I got an office space now. If you want to support them and me, go to adafruit.com, purchase hardware. They make boards like this is an old prototype, but I'll show the old prototype anyway because it's at hand. So here's an example. This is the board we'll be talking about today. This is a prototype. It is not available yet, but you can sign up to be notified when it is. And this is called a Fruit Jam. It's meant to be kind of an all-in-one computer. I was going to say CircuitPython powered. There is CircuitPython on it. That's what we're working on, but you can also do emulators and stuff that are not CircuitPython. So there's 2 USB ports. There's a hub chip somewhere here and a little tiny computer called a microcontroller. That's just this chip here, and I don't know why it's so dark. It is very bright outside. It's a nice day out here in Seattle, so that could be part of it. Anyway, so buying stuff like this supports me and supports Adafruit. Adafruit pays me to do all this work. So please do that. CircuitPython is a version of Python, a programming language designed for... Programming language is really easy for beginners, and it's... we bring Python to little tiny computers called microcontrollers. They're really inexpensive, and CircuitPython wants to make it really easy to use those little computers to do whatever you like. So what we're working on today is, I showed the Fruit Jam. I've been working on Fruit Jam. I've got about 4 weeks left until I go on more paternity leave. And this is kind of my main focus, is making Fruit Jam really great. Improving USB host has been a big thing. Lots of USB churn. I just updated USB stuff this morning. I added auto mounting SD cards, and now you can see SD cards from your host computer. You can also see I added a saves partition. So we now have 2 partitions on the Fruit Jam, and you can configure other boards to have it as well. But Fruit Jam is the only one that we do it by default, which is a place that you can write to from CircuitPython. The USB mass storage thing makes it really tricky to share a partition because mass storage operates at the block level, blah, blah, blah. It operates at the block level, not the file level, and so it's hard to have 2 things manipulating it at once. That's why you need 2 partitions. One CircuitPython can write, and one the host can write. And then the SD card works as well. So what I've been trying to do is, Foamy Guy has Tim, who also does deep dives, has been doing a ton of work in this space for a long, long time in CircuitPython, where they've made a lot of different games and stuff that you can do in CircuitPython. And they also added this cool animation for the Fruit Jam, which I think they've shown off, and I hope because I'm going to show it off here. But what I've been trying to do is and Todd asked this a little bit too, of like, how do you have a default kind of factory file system image? And so I'm playing around with, and I intend on getting to this today, where so we have a bundle for libraries, which is a zip file of all the libraries. But I also want to bundle kind of like the whole system. And we kind of designate it. Tim and I were talking about this. We think of it as kind of like like an operating system, like making another, like a higher level OS layer, where like a GUI, kind of like the Windows part of Windows, not the kernel, kind of equivalent for CircuitPython. So I showed that off, and maybe I will just show it off here again. I think I have a build. Let me go to the desktop. So I got a little distracted, which is not surprising. But I was working on this launcher, and I should just show you. I got a little distracted. So I started using Claude Code and Windsurf, which are AI coding assistant things. And I ran into this where I was just wanting to change the launcher. The launcher that Tim did had a fixed list of apps that you could select. And I was trying to make it just a dynamic list where it was iterating through things. And I got a little distracted because I really love pathlib in regular Python. And I was like, oh, I wonder how good Claude Code could do at just generating everything that CircuitPython needs to do pathlib. So if you're a Python user and you love pathlib, raise your hand in the chat. I am one of them, and I was like, I don't want to use like this OS stuff. I'd much rather just have pathlib natively. And so I've thrown Claude at that in the last hour. And let's see how far Claude got and how much of it works. So I'm going to just get us into the bootloader here. And I can see the screen. I know you can't. I do have it capturing. We'll go to that in just a moment. In fact, I could do it here. So there's no video. But I have this udisk command that copies the new image over. Hopefully it'll work. And we can switch to it here. Hopefully it'll come. It looks like it's no signal to the TV. There we go. So there's our starting animation. So that's in boot.py now. So this would be part of that image. And looks like my launcher code tries to import OS path and it doesn't work. And this was like, I really want pathlib. So for some reason, it actually dumped us all the way down to the REPL, which I'm not exactly sure why. But let's see if we can import pathlib. And we can, which is cool. I literally just like kind of like let the Claude code do whatever it wants. PosixPath, iterdir. I don't even know what it's added. Exists, isdir, is file, join path, parent, resolve, stem, suffix. So I wonder what happens if we do p equals p/apps. Unsupported type for true div. Okay. Interesting. So this is me wanting to implement pathlib enough that I can use it. Like all the pieces of pathlib that I know, I kind of want to add, just because pathlib is awesome. If you've not done pathlib in Python, it's just like way more functional. And one thing you can do is this slash to go from one PosixPath to another. So let's just test this out first. Let's not get. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. Pathlib.path, and then let's do apps matrix code.py, and just see if we can do p exists. True, and then let's do a path that doesn't exist, and it's false. So this works. So if we look at merge, Sublime merge, I just want to show off how awesome this is. Like I literally, sorry, I could close the window. How bad is that sound for you on the stream? So let's see what it did. This is my debugging. I'm in CircuitPython. So it added this bit of code here, but it failed to add this, so I had to add that myself. It added this unprompted, the pathlib stuff. A bit distracting, but at least it's temporary. Okay, yeah, I can try to do that. Oh, I also added working directory, so the launcher uses set next code file to go from one app to another, and I added the ability to change the working directory of that thing. Also with the help, I used Windsurf to help do that. This is a debugging thing, but now we store working directory as well. This is debugging for some file system stuff that I was seeing, but I haven't seen it today. And then, oh, I guess these are untracked files. So let's git add pathlib. So I guess I could show off, oh, it doesn't back scroll, but I did compact. So this is the, what you can do is you can compact, and it tried to summarize everything it did, kind of to keep some of the context for the next task that you're going to do. Now implement ability to do path / dir. Let's just see if it can figure out how to do that. It's tricky because it's not just another function call. It's got to figure out how to do the dual, I forget, a dual operator thing, which I don't even remember how to do myself. Something that does it would be the int object. So if we look in obj int, we can figure out what the name is. It's binary op. That's what it is. Binary op. Binary op. Op equals multiply. Maybe it does division natively too. Let's see, what's it proposing? Good try. I don't think that'll work. Maybe? Will it? mpconst binary op. Does that work? So this is the thing where it's like, is it making this up? Yes, it's making it up. So are you thinking of not using pure Python for the operator overload of slash? No, I was going to do it the kind of native way of doing MP binary, of implementing binary op. Okay, so now what I'm going to say is like, no, I don't want to do it that way. Look at this file for how to do binary op support. Let's see what it does. So it knew to look like it pulled down the file that I just referred it to. And now it's thinking about it. So in shared bindings, yes, I think that's right. No. No, it can be static. Try building. Only shared bindings changes. Okay, so now it made it static. But it's adding a second static one. Are you gonna delete the first one? I feel like I had this problem before where it was like, yeah. It just deleted the one it just added. How difficult would it be to connect an Airlift Breakout to the Fruit Jam? It looks like the pins on both are set up nicely. What do you think about the software? So the new rev of the Fruit Jam has an ESP32C6 on it. So I don't think you need the Airlift Breakout. I've been tempted to try to throw Claude at native support of ESP32 but that's a big task. So this is like a fine detail thing. Hi, Bob. That like I may be better off not instructing Claude how to do. String to replace. Interesting. Okay, so it made it static. So it did try to do a build. I've told it that it's allowed to do builds on its own. So here it just tried to do a build. And now it generated an error message and a fix for it. This is what, see this grid? This is like what I've been waiting for with these LLM code assistants. It was like being able to get it in the like change it, compile, change it, compile, change it, compile loop. It's just, see, so it just built it and it thinks it's working. We don't need to do that. We'll test it ourselves. Or we could be ambitious and I think it's iterdir 2. And I probably should have compacted. So there is some like technique that you have to learn about, like give it some context and do that. Let's see how it does. But yeah, it's Dan was doing a lot of work to do Dan was doing a lot of work to add support or like update the Nina firmware stuff for the newer chips. Oh, we don't actually need it there, but that's okay. I think one thing that you have to be aware of is that these things are quite good at generating a lot of stuff. Oh, interesting. So here it's creating a list with everything in it, which I would actually, I'm just going to push it, right? I don't actually want to do it that way. I'd rather return an iterator object instead. What is the type that, let me just move to repos, fruit jam OS, and let's just do Python p equals, I guess, source, import pathlib, dot path, source, type of p.iterdir is a map. Is the terminal GUI part of Claude? So it is Claude code, which you just call by calling Claude, but it's Claude code. And I did actually try this. Interestingly, I did try it with Windsurf, and it did not do as well. It did not do as well as Claude code. Like, even though I use like pretty much the same prompt. So yeah, this is Claude code here. I still have Windsurf open as my editor, but the like cascade here, like it didn't do as well. And so I think it has to do with like the tools that it makes available, what it decides to call, and like the system prompt and stuff. It's wild stuff. But yeah, it didn't do as well as Claude code. So I was like, oh, let me try it and see if Claude code can do better. So here I'm going to say, I don't know why it's a map. What is a lowercase map in Python land? If I wanted to just be quick about it, I could just do it this way. But let's try it. Return an iterator object instead. See if it can figure out that it's got to like construct its own custom iterator object. New path iterdir. Create a path generator. Will that work? Probably not. I should have like saved my state. But yeah, this is like, I was just thinking like, oh man, it's so much easier to nerds night me now when I'm just like, let me just take a little time to see how far the LLM can get me. Sure. Iterator for the file names. Because there is already an underlying like ilister thing I should be able to call. New polymorphic iterator. Is that a real thing? It's really funny too because like this stuff is trained on old versions of CircuitPython and MicroPython, and the way that I could tell is that, like this. Oh, it is a thing. The way that it generated some of this files originally, we used to do static in all caps so that you could like macro it out. And then in newer versions, we've like removed it and just made it static. But when it generated code for me, it generated it with the like static thing. Sure. but we're modifying a const field. Sure. So this is calling iter next. It could just go around in circles. We'll see if it thinks that it's finishing. Yeah. All right, it's trying to build. Let's see how it does. Okay, it built. Now it's going to try to run it, which I don't want to do. Oh, no, it just summarized it. Okay, so now let's do manual testing. Let's put the human in the loop. We don't have anything mounted, so we could just go like this. And do our udisk thing again. If folks have questions, I'm happy to go on other tangents as well. Longtime viewers of the deep dive will know that I'm happy to go wherever the winds take me, which I guess is an apt metaphor if I'm using Windsurf. But I didn't get any hands for people who like pathlib. I guess I know it's nice. I'm excited for pathlib myself. But it's interesting because it puts, like, there's no cost to writing, or a very low cost to generating code. And so, like, more of the cost comes in reviewing and tweaking and stuff, which is just fascinating to me. Like, the fact that I didn't have to navigate shared bindings and the build files and the shared module is just, like, very cool. Okay, let's go to overhead. Hopefully our... It doesn't look like our board's coming up. Let's hit reset and see what happens. It looks like it crashed, which is interesting. Like, it looks like it's crashing hard. Like, I should get the debugger out. Which is interesting because we shouldn't be calling anything in pathlib right now. Like, we shouldn't be getting all that way. I'm gonna try to build it myself in my known environment and see. We can start reviewing the code that we ended up with. Like, I don't know why none of this new code should be running. It should all be, no, we're crashing again. Huh. I wonder why that is. D. I could try to turn pathlib off and see if it works. Like, it's on because of this. Config. Turn it off. Clean. Build. Weird, I don't see like any other. Like this is it. Oh, reset CPU. reset CPU could be getting us into if we're trying to go into safe mode, we'll do that too. Looks like it's crashing still. All right, let's plug in the debugger and see what we see. That's very strange. Like, I don't feel like we're doing anything that, you know, maybe we're somehow in safe mode. We're trying to go into safe mode. We can do this. Source mode, open OCD, and I don't care about the first core. Luckily, I did open, or I'm doing debug builds, so I should be able to do that. And config port power complete. Transfer is null. Things are corrupt. Very strange. Very strange indeed. I always have trouble with this. Come on, reset init. Huh. It doesn't look like it's even getting to. Well, I know it's getting. Things are not in a good state, which is very weird. External resource. Tell you, if it's because I went hog wild with LLMs, I'm gonna be turned off a little bit. Like it was just working. Okay, I'm gonna do a full power. Oh, you know what? I'm not looking at debug output either. Let's look at serial console debug. I'm not sure it's split in the main. It looks suspicious. Let's see if we get anything in here. Nope. Going straight to the hard fault handler. It appears. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try just shutting it all down. Because sometimes, like with the external, oh, you know what? Let me see again. My wires have come out. No, I mean, it doesn't look to me that it's even getting so far as CircuitPython. Sometimes I feel like the flash gets in a weird state. And I don't trust that the firmware has the right thing on it. I'll do a... Oh no, there we go. We're not even getting the beginning. Oh, but we have USB. I see CP saves, but I'm seeing the light from... Why aren't we getting UART output? It's interesting because I do feel like I don't have a great idea of everything that's changed. Oh, you know what? I bet this is it. If next code configuration working directory is not equal to null, but this should be null. Free jam board. I'm gonna power cycle it. I don't trust that it's in a good state. So I'm going to power cycle it, and I'm going to load it straight to the bootloader by holding the boot button down. And I will plug in my serial debugging, because I should be getting some serial debugging as well. Did I get the entry point? I don't know. Let's try copying it over again. Yeah, I just don't trust the ability to get the flash right in the right state. This will give me more confidence that we're getting. Yeah, there's the red light again, even though... Oh, you know what? I think I'm no, I fixed that. I was gonna say I'm using a newer version of the SDK. I think I fixed that. Yeah. Here, let's do something crazy. Let's do git stash. And clean and make and see if it comes up. I'm getting distracted by implementing pathlib. Should I see if Claude can implement glob? I don't think so. I think I'll just make it not that smart. If I could iterdir and check that files exist, that'd be plenty useful, I think. Oh, have I been doing this? This could explain it too. Look at this. I'm copying the wrong file over. That could be it too. I'm copying the Metro build over. Did I do that before? All right, let's see. But the things we'll learn in this deep dive. Yeah, it's true. Oh, we can go to here. You can see me pull my hair out now. All right, drives disappeared. No red light, but also no serial output and nothing on USB. Oh, there we go. There's something on USB. And my TV's off. That could be it. I could have put the wrong build on it, and for some reason the wrong build is really hosing me. Okay, so this build works. So now let's do a git stash pop. Pull everything back. And then do clean and build to be nice and proper about it. We still didn't see our serial output. which is a little bit suspicious. I wonder if I have my wires crossed. And it's still saying no module named OSPath. So we have the new firmware. And I'm going to copy, and I'm going to make sure it's the Fruit Jam image. I should just delete the Metro one. And let's go to the overhead and see if it comes up. Oh, and I got a serial console set up as well. Nice. We're getting the boot up animation. Tim was talking about having this skip if you do something, which I think we could do, but we could also, you can rename boot.py and then it won't do it at all. Okay, so we're back to OSPath is not writable. So let's do pathlib. Oh, we turned pathlib off. That's fine. So now let's do exactly what we just did. And okay, so now we're going to do I'm going to do make clean again. And make. And I haven't mounted anything, so I can just do that. And we'll lose the video. Go back to the desktop. Sorry, I'm probably not bouncing around to the right screens, but holler at me in the chat. Okay, so this one should have pathlib on it. And if we start crashing again, we do know that it's something in pathlib. But really, like, we shouldn't use the pathlib stuff at all until, like, some code tries to use it. And then it could crash. But, like, it's weird that it's crashing on start. Okay, now we get serial console set up again. So we got in some funny state. We're getting 3 devices attached because I've got the hub, keyboard, and mouse connected. And we are getting our video output as well. So we'll just go here and we'll do. Did you notice this has the new font because at the top it's got the snake and the keyboard. So pathlib should be available now, and we can do pathlib path, and I just want apps. And then I want to do 4D in iterdir print D. Which I guess is right, except it's not printing the path for me, it's just printing me PosixPath. So what does, let's go back to, what does Python do? And p.iterdir print p. So here it converts it to a string. Although, oh, I'm printing P, I'm not printing D. Okay, so it's doing the path. Sorry. Desktop. So here's what I did as I was just testing on the desktop what it does. So it prints, when you convert it to, I guess this converts it to a repr, right? So let's go back to here and let's do a compact. Because we're kind of like, we're within the scope of pathlib, but we're going to do a new task, which is like add string printing or string formatting. So let's see how it can do on that. Probably not the time to start test-driven development, but at least you showed a test case. So it actually, this did cross my mind when I was doing the font, the terminal code, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I bet LLMs are really good at generating C tests. So it's like really crossed my mind of like, I wanted to do just C tests, like not through the MicroPython on Unix binary at all, but just straight up like C-level unit tests. I'm very tempted to throw it at that. I bet it would do a pretty good job of being able to start adding tests for the C code at the C level. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Add a string. I don't even. Function for path, PosixPath. So it shows the path instead of type. If you had Claude generate the test cases and then Claude implement the code to pass the test. Yeah, you could totally do that. So one thing the people that are better at this than me do is they talk about like you really have to have a plan for it. And I'm not doing that. Like I'm giving it just like a 1 sentence or 2 sentences, but I think you can be more structured about it and get better results. Because it's all about like kind of giving it the context it needs. And we'll see, like this doesn't have the context it needs because I don't know it off the top of my head, which I could figure out. Like I'm trying to remember like what objects do we override how they do the string representation. Like maybe start with like looking for repr. Oh, print. That's right. That sounds right. Okay, so yeah, they got it. Like that is what we want, I think. Like it's going to build and it's going to pass. It wants to be able to test it too. And like hooking it up to the actual thing, like we could. Okay, compact. I'm going to do a housekeeping test. I want it to move all of the functions related to PosixPath into a separate PosixPath file. So I'm just going to have it compact again. Compacting is like, one thing I've seen is that like it gets less good the longer your conversation is. And so compacting is kind of a way to like split the difference and give it the context for what you were doing, but not all the little details. This type like none makes me suspicious. I think it's gonna need a different type flag. Move all of the PosixPath related functions into PosixPath.cn.h files. Like that's kind of a coding convention that I've done. And another thing that I see when I watch YouTubers is like you tell them kind of coding conventions up front because they're like context that you always need for what you're doing. Oh, my laptop is doing something. I'm not sure what. Five tool uses. I'm going to run out of money here at some point because I am on my own credit that I had, but once I use up all this credit, I have an Adafruit account now that I'll be able to use. So it's reading, and now it created a new file. Yes. Yes, I want you to create the new file. And now I see an error here too. It's taking an np-obj t, and I don't want it to do that. It should actually take in the like specific self-struct instead. but I'm gonna let it churn. Could you imagine, once I started doing this and I was like really impressed with the results, I was like, could you imagine if it, like, here I am sitting for like 30 seconds for it to reply to me, but like, imagine in 2 years or whatever when it's instantaneous. Like, instantaneous would be amazing. Okay. And this is my beef with Claude Code, is that it's not a great way to review changes, especially in this case where it's like too large. But still, it does a really good job of getting context. So I'm going to let it finish doing what it's doing here, and then I'm going to tell it like, oh, like common how functions should take this pathlib PosixPath obj in instead. Any other features of pathlib people want to see added? Glob would be a tempting one. Glob is tempting for sure. Yeah, it's so cool how quickly I could get a foundation for stuff like this. But yeah, could you imagine if it was fast? It's so slow right now. Like, yeah, just imagine if it was fast. How awesome would that be? Okay, now it's deleting it. Yeah, that's right. And I was doing something, oh yeah, it fixed its own static thing, and it just gave me, it was interesting. It gave me, here it's doing like one file at a time, but it had like generated like a lot of files to fix all at once. And so it was just like boom, 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 which was cool. Okay, now it's gonna build, but it's probably gonna fail because I'm not sure it fixed the so now it's got to fix the header. So now it needs to add it to source bindings. So it's looking for where to add PosixPath.c. So it's doing like a search, which it should be in, it should have been in one of those files that I saw. The problem is looking for source bindings, and it's not in source bindings. It should really be looking for pathlib. No. Look for where pathlib dot included. So now it's doing the search again, but I've tried to tell it look for pathlib init C instead. We'll see if I can figure it out. Otherwise, I'll add it. It's in Pi, CircuitPy something. Is this more entertaining or less entertaining than me typing? I don't know what my computer's, what this laptop's doing. It's taking ages. Definitely seems like it is doing something. Oh, it's just, I think it might be that file, npconfig.make. It just decided to do the wrong thing. Okay. All right, let's see if we can fix it. It's right here. This is what it was looking for, CircuitPy definitions. And the Windsurfer autocomplete had it exactly right. I fixed it. Try building again. It might be also that it doesn't know how to do the header includes. So this QString stuff is no. Clean and rebuild. Did I accept it? Come on. Escaped and clean and rebuild. It should know how to do that. We've gotten used to the way you think, but I'm still learning how Claude thinks. I mean, guess is what you want to hear. Yeah. It would be really interesting. I definitely feel like this is more use than I did. Yesterday I was out, but the day before I wasn't using it as much. And it definitely varies. Like how much I'm relying on this. Here it's trying to delete them. Okay, shut it down. Although I don't want that qster file either. This might be an example of, because I've been doing that compact, the context may just be like completely throwing it off. Like this file, we definitely don't need. Delete that, yes. Move that. And then okay, I'm in shared module. In here, I want to include them both. Let's see, let's just do clear. Instead of doing a compact, I'm doing a clear. Build CircuitPython and fix any errors. Nope, 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 nope. Clean it first. All right, it doesn't know how to do that. Can it figure it out? It didn't. All right, all right, all right. This is like when you gotta pull the ripcord and just be like, I can do it. It's fine, I'll fix it. Like I got the value out of it, it did all the restructuring for me. So I'm gonna clear again. And I still have that like restructuring thing that switch common hal pathlib to taking pathlib PosixPath obj instead of mp obj. Got a new context. It's got the init for context, but that's not a whole lot. We're compiling again. Do. And we should have fixed the printing of the object. That looks right. Yeah, and this is really interesting because it's so easy to generate code now. You've got to be careful of generating too much, right? Like there's a bunch of POSIX, like pathlib APIs here that I don't actually regularly use. Like I don't really use stem or suffix. Parent we would use. Join path don't really use. So like if you're not careful, you can generate way more than you actually need. And I think this is also something that we got to be very careful about with drivers. Like, you throw a data sheet at an LLM and say, generate an accessor for every register, and it's just like, yeah, that's nice, but like, part of the value of a driver, and actually, oh, so here's an example where it's doing multiple updates at once. These are all the different call sites. So it's just saying like boom, 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 which is cool. Yeah, like, what happens when you have so much code? Like I bet our the like in-memory size of our drivers is going to get a lot higher because of that. Because there's like very little cost adding accessors for absolutely everything. That all looks fine. Do. You know what? There is a better way to check the type, isn't there? I think that might be the common way to do it. I bet it's going to give me a bunch of stuff to change. Hey, it finished. I don't know why it took 3 hours. Okay, so here it is doing it again. I do want to look at the cost here in just a bit. I'm curious how much money I've spent sitting here waiting for it. Well, I'm not including my salary there either, but. Okay, so we're in shared module now. We're still updating, and now it's doing a build. And yeah, that works. That's regularly what we'll do. Hopefully the compiler would elide the accessors. Well, it can't, right? Like, this code is generating it, so you could call it from Python. And then in talking about drivers for CircuitPython, like, CircuitPython doesn't do any sort of tree shaking. Like, it's loading everything from an NPY or a lib file into memory. Which I guess, you know, that could be one way to fix it. One way to fix it would actually to be like, that's actually an interesting idea. Like, what if CircuitPython did tree shaking to save memory? Okay, so it thinks it's done. It looks like the build worked. Let's load it up. And I wonder if we're going to have the same problem we did before using a built version. The other thing that I want to throw Claude code at is LLVM. I've not talked about it recently, but I really want the compiler and the linker to be memory region aware, because we have this problem, and this is a bug that rears its ugly head every year at least, if not more. We have certain C functions that we expect to be able to run when the flash is unavailable. And the compiler doesn't guarantee that everything that function calls is also available without flash. And so you have to have these like really nitty-gritty linker rules that try to grab just the things that you reference. And it's like, it drives me freaking nuts, because there's no reason like the compiler and linker couldn't be like, oh, you wanted this function to run in RAM, like everything that it references better be in RAM too. Like, and then it would be foolproof, or at least like not foolproof, because you could like confuse the compiler probably doing like function pointers or something, but like it would be way better than the linker script stuff that we have now. And like, ESP IDF and Pico SDK, they all have these like crazy tricks and like things of linker script fragments and all this sort of garbage just so that like it can manage to get the things in RAM that it needs in RAM for other things. It's just like, yeah, this is where like LLVM is a large code base. I don't know exactly how I want to do it, and like getting me over that hump could be amazing. The bug / improvement you found the other day, not sure which one you're referring to. The critical section one, exactly. The critical section Pico SDK thing, yeah, that's exactly an example of like, you should have known you were like, but like, because the way it's done now is with section naming, and sections are dumb. Like, it's just a name. The compiler doesn't know what it means at all. It's like totally okay for you to call across sections. Yeah. And like, what would the compiler do if it actually knew that like, here's a like cold path for like exception raising and a hot path that's in RAM, and like RAM is way quicker to access than like, I think for embedded, like it makes sense to be. The problem is that a bunch of compiler people work on big OSs and CPUs that manage all that through caches and cache levels. We're a little weird. Okay, import path. P equals pathlib. It kind of seems like my issue was just that. For dnp dot iterdir print d. Hey! You mentioned that you found the bug when the USB code on Core 1 reference flashed, right? Yes, so when we start up the USB host code on the Core 1, we turn the MPU, we set the MPU settings for Core 1 so that if it tries to access flash, it doesn't. All it does is it crashes. And the reason that is because we don't have, that's instead of doing synchronization across the cores. So Core 0 doesn't have to tell Core 1, like, I'm going to reference flash, like, hold on, you can't do flash right now. Instead, we just say Core 1 is always in RAM, and it can just run and run and run and run. Sweet. So this is what we need. So let's go back to, I'm going to go the overhead, and I'm going to mount. So here, you can see there's CP saves now, and there's also circuitpy. So I'm going to do circuitpy, and I'm going to do code.py. Here's our code.py, and look, it's Windsurf is like, do you want to import pathlib? Yes, I do. And in fact, I don't need OS or path now. So I'm going to delete that as well. Then I'm going to go down here, and I wonder if app path equals pathlib apps iterdir print path. Had to jump. I don't think we need that. But now we can say yes. Yes and yes. What's it doing? Icon file exists. Yeah, try that. PosixPath object has no attribute exit. Huh. Image load. Oh, because we're image loading a PosixPath now. So we need to go icon file string dot absolute. Okay. This is why I like Windsurf. Like these suggestions it's getting around edits are like very impressive. Copilot was only giving me like completions, whereas this is actually doing like, hey, you just did this thing. Like, do you want to do this other thing? And it could be like a delete, which is also mind-blowing to me. Okay, so I'm not feeding it this, like it doesn't have this context, so I'm just gonna go to 198 and I'll do it myself. Oh, but look, it's suggesting that. Okay. Bound method object is not iterable. In load glyphs. So I think this is that if we go to here and we do d.name, it works because it's a property. And I think the way it implemented, the way that Claude Code did it. So I'm going to just clear again here. But I think the way that it implemented it, it didn't do it as properties. It did it as functions. Although it said they're properties, but now that they're as functions. Which makes me think. Let's just say, like, path.name is needs to be implemented as a property. Maybe two rather than a bare function. Like, I'm trying to remember like the incantation for how to make it a property. This has been kind of surprising to me too. Of like, sometimes I just throw it at the LLM instead of like looking up how to do it. Like, let's see, what is it suggesting? So that's not useful. Look in shared bindings for MP property get, I think is what it is. Found 97 files. Okay. Are you going to look at all the files? There we go. I think that's right. And then it's got to update the thing further down. Let's see if it realizes that. It does. Now it's going to build, and it built. Update the other properties on PosixPath. It's got to be like it may not be trained on the C Python source, but it's at least trained on the docs, I'd imagine. So parent is that way. I assume so. Let's actually, maybe we should double check. C Python. Pathlib. Parent. Yeah, it's documented like a property. Stem. Stem, suffixes. Is there an individual suffix? I want to go the other way. I think I'm probably just past it. Yes. It is a warm day today. I'm out of water. And it updated those. That's fine with me. I find myself saying, yep, 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 a lot. And it built. Okay, so we've got to eject this. And because I don't trust our flashing, I'm just going to do a copy. And I have this random backups folder where I just do things like 2025 04 04 fruit jam stream 1, and then I just paste everything as a backup, and then I can like search for in here and stuff. Okay, so that looks all good. So I'm going to eject and be nice to my drive. Eject, and it's still crashing. That's okay. We're gonna fix it by fixing name, because the bound method is, that's if you don't do the like parentheses. So now let's copy it over. Any questions people have? There's a few people watching, according to that. All right, there's the logo, the animation. It doesn't have sound. We don't have sound coming in from it yet. Here's our menu. Now it's saying PosixPath object has no attribute name. Huh. That's not right. Okay, so what did it do? PosixPath. It has properties. Qster name. It's on locals dict. Property object. IP property getter. I think that's right. What does it? I didn't expect that to happen. It looks right. Printer path. What do we have on here? Absolute exists, isdir, isfile, iterdir, join path, resolve. But it doesn't have. We broke the properties, huh? Iterdir, resolve, exists, join path. Property object. This looks right to me. See. Define const function object 1. It's possible it's calling it and then not returning the right thing. But yeah, it gives me all these like, that's not the right suggestion. I'm not sure what the issue is. Find the last slash. That looks right. I bet it's calling it, but it's not working. This I don't think is going to be right because it still needs to do empty obj new stir. I think that's right. Or path stir is actually, oh, it's a string object. Let me debug this code that I don't have any idea about. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. Console URL printf. Let's make sure it's being called. No, stop that. I do need to include supervisor. Supervisor shared serial H. Huh, yeah, I expected that to work better, not worse. Or at least, I guess that was different. Make clean. Make again. Wonder what it could be. It looks like it's wired up right to me. Oh, it's too hot in here. Okay, I'm still copying the right file. Let's not make that mistake again. I'm gonna come up. We're doing the animation. And it still has no attribute name. It's probably something obvious. It's funny that it did work, now it doesn't work. And it's not calling the getter, otherwise we would console log. The Q strings are right. Absolute exists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's look at parallel bus. It has 1, 2. Local dict. These properties. I gotta be using like property getter wrong. That looks right to me though. Did it inadvertently like make a new property getter or something crazy like that? Doesn't look like it. Like the name is slightly different, but it's just those 4 uses. Is MP-ROM pointer. Oh, interesting. Generic key count obj. It's externally defined, but it shouldn't need to be. It should work locally. PosixPath has no attribute name. Is that because it's an instance? Can I do it on the first one, but not what the iterator's returning? Let's try that. Or let's just do pathlib. P equals pathlib. Path. That name. No. Why is that? What about the other one? Stem. Suffix. Parent. But I can do iterdir is a method. Resolve. I'm stumped. Oh, you know what this is? It's this. Special. MP type flag. Has special accessors, that's what it is. Copy. I should know this. Okay. All right, let's eject. That's what it is, because it takes like a little bit more time do the other accessors. That's why I found the functions, but not the properties. Sorry, window's open, still hot in here. Is having the window open better or worse than having the air conditioner on? It's like, it's not that warm out. I should be able to cool it off by having the window open. Problem is it only really gets cooled off when, hey, fruit jam's going. I do like the animation. All right, and name I is not defined. Okay, so we're making progress. I'm gonna go to the overhead so you can see my error. Do you wanna see my error codes or do you wanna see my code? CircuitPy. I guess I could do this. I is not defined on line 198. 198. Because I haven't. I equals 0. And then I plus 1. I prefer the C code. I mean, I'm not in C code at all. Hey, look, we got name, parent, stem, and suffix now. Sweet. We can delete that. Were we getting the matrix on the? We were. Sweet. Okay, so now we're dynamically finding our apps. So, in the spirit of Claudeizing everything, do we want to maybe we go back to Windsurf. We do new window. I want to start the Python script for doing. Oh, in fact, let me. Build.py needs to be on the outside. Is it in source? No. Okay. So I prefer the Python code. I'm debating whether I want to have a list of learn guides. Plop them down and put them in apps. Okay. So in build, oh, here's what I'll do. What do we have in Learn projects? Nothing. But let's go to Learn. And we're going to do matrix. Display. Matrix is actually hard to search for. Let me make this bigger. Basically what I'm going to do is I want to get project bundles, and then I want it to like appify the project bundles for me. So I'm looking for this one, return to the matrix. Oh, and it goes a lot faster in that one. I was thinking about how to make it faster. It's quite slow right now because it's one big tile grid that gets updated. Whereas I think it could be like a bunch of different tile grids that get shifted. But yeah. Okay, so I'm going to download the project bundle. Boop. and I already have it. So I'm going to move downloads. Actually, let's go into Fruit Jam. Downloads. Metro matrix.zip to learn projects. And let's get the snake game as well. Did it get approved? I'm trying to remember what the other ones in Tim's demo are. This one. I think it's hot off the press. Oh, cool! I haven't actually played it yet, so this is awesome. It's got like a kind of like a blinka colored snake. How awesome does that look? Oh, heck yeah, I want to get this working. Okay, so let's do code and do download project bundle. It is Metro Snake. So we're just going to move Snake to there. Okay, runs much faster on the smaller display size. The matrix code. Yeah, I believe it. You're just, the more pixels you're pushing, the slower it goes. App launcher ran slower than when shown by Tim with no launcher. The app launcher version ran slower. Oh yeah, yeah. Tim was running it at the like by 2. But we had this debate about what the default resolution of Fruit Jam should be, and I kind of like, I was originally doing scaled by 2 because it runs faster for sure. But if we want to have an editor experience, which is what I'll pick up on Monday, like that'll be another app here, is like you just want to see more code. So like kind of had this question of like, are we going for like sit on a couch view thing, or are you sitting at a desk and looking at it? And I think I've fallen into the sitting at a desk category. Okay, so in Windsurf, let's inbuild.py, add we want it to merge the files in source with the app sources in learn projects. Generate a new zip files of both. Do one output zip for each font in fonts. You don't see me typing. Am I just a little bit too far off screen? Yeah, sorry, it was too big. This is definitely a problem that I have with this Windsurfer interface. It just takes a lot of space. Yeah, apps can reinitialize the display. It's empty. Gonna write the build script now. Sure. Okay, it created some zip files for me. What did it do? Get the main project root. Set up the path. Oh, look, it's using OS-Path. Watch this. Let's see. Use pathlib instead of os.path. Right, I like pathlib. This will make the code more modern and cleaner. That's what it says. make the output directory. It's calling it dist. And it's creating a font-specific zip. Not a bad name. And then in dist, it created a bunch of zip files. Copy the tree. Oh! Make dir, make fonts. Copy to the file. Oh, see, it's copying the zip files over. It's putting zip files in zip files. Yeah, you can run. Yay, I love pathlib. That looks better. The script works perfectly with the pathlib changes, producing the same output as before, but with cleaner, more modern Python code is what it said. It's so confident, I love it. Let's say unzip the files of the learn project zips. Oh, it's gonna put them in the wrong place. I could stop it and make a apps.app name directory for each one. We'll see. So it feels to me like we're getting like a little bit long in the context, and it might help to start over. We'll see how it does. I could at least accept the changes that it did right now because it's still doing like helpful stuff. Like it's iterating over everything. So it took this. It's taking the stem of the zip path, which is interesting, and then calling extract all. Okay. It all contains this. So can we look at what is in here? Fruit Jam ENUS. Seems like a perfectly fine name to me. Let's go into home. Repos. We're working on Fruit Jam OS. And let's look in dist and see what we got. So here's our zip file. We've got apps, source, which should be at the top level. We've got our font, and we've got pretty reasonably named, but very verbose directory structure. So this is where like the changes I need to make are not that big, and I'm like, I don't know how to cross that boundary to like, should I just do it myself? Like one thing I want is like the ENUS LV font bin should be renamed terminal.lv font bin. Let's just see how it does. Okay, so let's start a new conversation. We're going to accept that. Name the font apps fonts.terminal.lv font bin. Let's just see what I can do there. See, now it doesn't know like what file are you talking about. So it's lost all context. Doesn't know what you're talking about. Let's just try again. In build, when you copy the file, the font file over, name it fonts terminal.lv font bin. Okay, so yeah, it was like very simple. This is one reason I like Windsurf, is that it has this like, oh, it's a diff and I can accept it. So I do want that. I wonder if I should keep going here. Put the source, the files from source at the root. Why? I don't know why it's over the top of it, but I bet it's right. And find, copy of this learn project from the directory containing code.py. Move the lib folder top level. For you, at what point is it harder to describe the changes, renames, than to just do the renaming yourself? I think that, yeah, that's definitely the crux of it. And it's interesting because in this case where it's generated the whole script, I don't have necessarily all of the context that it does in terms of like exactly where it is or how to do that with zip files. But yeah, there's definitely a boundary there, and that's part of the reason I like working in Windsurf, because like if I'm doing that, it's usually pretty good at guessing what I want to do. No code.py found. Get the relative path from the code directory. Handle the lib directly special, move it to the root. Give it a try. I'm surprised it didn't. I'm surprised it didn't try just running it on its own. But I think I must have lost that in the context. So that could have just been like a file exists. Right, so both projects have image load. So it's just gonna say exists okay. Oh. No. Well, this is a temp. This I do want to do. It's good to start fresh. But I think it's gonna still have the problem. Yeah. So it's going to try again. Exists, okay. It's weird that it... If lib in path... Yeah, go ahead and run it. There you go. Great. Oh, and you can't see again. I'm sorry. This is the problem, is just like... Okay, so let's open it up again and take another peek. This is the old version. So now we have boot.py at the root. We have lib. And it's got bitmap, displaytext, image load, and tix.npy. We have our fonts directory with terminal. We have our boot animation with sprites. And we have two apps, Matrix and Snake. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to go to CircuitPy. And I'm going to be kind of crazy. I'm going to back it all up, and then I'm going to delete it all. which is kind of why I want to make a UF2 out of it. So I could just drag the UF2 and like know I'm starting fresh every time. In fact, we should probably include saves and SD directories there as well. Like all these all of these files, if we're splatting a new image on top, we're going to want to include that as well. So let's back this up again. Random backups, create new folder. 5. Fruit jam. String 2. Pastes 24 items. And you know what we need to copy over? Our code.py. This needs to go in. To source. Okay. And now we need to run build again. Let's run it ourselves. Okay. Now let's do the crazy thing. Let's eject. And I think we're done here. So $8.57, all of that pathlib stuff took. I had it open for 2.5 hours. It added 1,400 lines of code. So like not free, but like I'm expensive as well. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like that would have been a whole day task, not a 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon task. But maybe I'm wrong. And look, we have a debug print that's working now. Okay, so let's do storage and then storage erase file system. Let's get it real squeaky clean. We've got 7 minutes left. Do any folks have final questions about this? Do you think it was worth $8.50 to have pathlib? Remember, I charged like over $100 an hour. So like, that's the context. If it saves me 2 hours, it's, well, let's see, how many minutes of my time do I have to save to make that $8.50 worth it? I think it's pretty clear that I did save that amount of time, for sure. And I knew that like the flag thing was wrong. I just like didn't quite piece them together that that's how it did. Okay, should we? It looks like it did erase file system, but it's still going. Oh, you know why? Because I have this debug code. Okay, it's waiting for. I have debug code that prevents it from restarting itself. Do you have an explanation why the program would not start up when you saw the strange behavior when you copied the metro code you have to over while GDB was using the correct symbol table? The metro code would have been pretty similar. I don't necessarily believe that the symbols would have been correct if I was using a completely different binary. I don't believe that they would be that similar. I don't know when the metro file was built either. I haven't been testing or running on the metro at all either. So I really don't. I just don't know what state that file is, and I should just delete it, which I haven't done. But okay, so we're running. We got hello world. I'll switch to the overhead. So now what I'm going to do is I ran build, right? Let me just run it again for good measure. And now I'm going to open it up. I'm going to quick extract it to Yeah, I'll just extract it where it is. Now I will mount it. I will go back and I will copy it all over right into. Any chance of asking it to enter test cases over the REPL directly on device? Maybe a quick go at glob. I don't think I want to try adding it anything else. But I do want to play with doing serial to the LLM for sure. I definitely do want to try that, and maybe Tyeth, you and I should talk next week about it, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm running out of time. It's hot in here. We're still copying, I think. No module named Adafruit display IO layout. Huh. Shouldn't it be in? Oh, interesting. Oh, you know, that's probably why, because it's in, it's being used by code.py, and I need to add additional library dependencies. Which I should probably use circup for. I'm going to cheat it, and we'll just do circup from here. What is it looking for? Display IO layout. It's going to crash because I'm using 10. I think there is a mode that you can use circup on from the command line. So I think maybe that's what I should do, is like have the build script call circup. All right. Anchored tile grid. It's a thing. Okay, it's installed. USB host descriptors. That was what the completion was. Okay, so we've got some dependencies to install for it as well, and sized group. I think Tim had to give me sized group. Let me look. Autofill arg for code.py. Yeah, I think you had to send me sized group though, right, Tim? Code launcher. I think you did. I just want to see if I can get Snake going. Here we go. Okay. Which browser did it open in? Here we go. Raw. And I will make a new file. Oh, you know what? I'll put it in here. Become anchored group. Okay. Oh, and mouse cursor. So I'm missing more files. Luckily, I have a backup. I'm going to want mouse cursor and default icon. And then I'm going to want to modify it because it's going to crash. Non-type object has no attribute. Absolute. Oh, I think my code's wrong. Icon file is none. See, that's an example of, it's pretty neat. Arrow left and arrow right. We're over time, but I'm so close. Hey. We've got two unknown things, and it's cool that it just, which one do we think is snake? Look, I can use my, oh, let me go full screen with the, all right. We've got two things here, and let's just do the first one, see what it is. It stopped working. What happened? Code done running. Soft reboot. I see. I see that I've crashed. Do you want to see that I can get a proper backtrace now? Now that I know what I'm running? This is why I don't have safe mode working. No? Interesting. It's not able to connect, even though I plugged it in. Trace us. Oh. There was more output. Ugh. Well, so much for that. I gotta wrap up. I'm sweating my butt off. All right. Thank you, everybody. This has been a pleasure. Keep an eye out. I think I made the Fruit Jam OS repo. Maybe not. But that's where all this stuff will go. And I will push pathlib up to mine. So you can always check out like my fork of CircuitPython. Just hit branches and see the latest branch. I use that for backing up, so I pretty much commit and push to there every day. So if you want to see what I'm up to, check that out. So I'm going to do that and pathlib. Have a great weekend, everybody. I should be able to see you next week here on the Adafruit streams. If you want to support me, you can go to adafruit.com, purchase hardware there. You can also go there to sign up for the Fruit Jam notifications to be notified when we start selling it. And interesting, I didn't notice this before, but look here. It stopped because USB had an assertion failure. I think this is what I was seeing, some really weird mass storage stuff. And this is happening because there's a queue that bridges interrupts and the main thread for tiny USB stuff. And it must be that we filled up the queue and now it's failing. So interesting. More stuff to look into come Monday. But that's exactly why I have this USB debugging, is because I wanted to catch this problem. I suspected this was the case, so some reason our queue is getting too full. So we might need to make our queue bigger. I don't know if it's one queue for both host and device, but let's take a look at that. Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you next week. See you on the Discords, adafru.it/discord. Thanks a lot, and have a great weekend.